complicated when you gravitate towards yourself. On the other hand, it's hard to talk to anyone else. You can't help where your mind goes. So let's harvest on the moon with the autumn snow. Cause I've never had so much to gain and threw it all away. And if I ever had the chance again.
Okay, so I want to talk about women being their own woman. And of course, I'm only 20, so I'm still learning myself. But I say this meaning that a woman be not losing herself either in relationships or with work or just situations where it changes who you are, because every relationship or situation changes how you react or go through life and how you handle things. So a lot of my female friends or women that I talk to or know, it feels like now this is the season that people's spirits are breaking, or they're either losing themselves and they don't even know it. Like okay, first let me touch on being your own woman in a relationship. A relationship is a two-way streak. You both should compromise. You both should be happy. You should not be sacrificing your happiness for the other person, whichever person it is. A guy should not be sacrificing his happiness for a female, vice versa. So when you hit that point in a relationship where you're up at night worrying about like what's he doing, what's going on, if this is a lie, if this is the truth, if he's happy with you, or what you have to change about yourself, you should not be in that relationship. No matter how much you love them, there's a billion people in this world. You should not be settling and dimming down your happiness to make this person happy or to avoid arguments. I feel like when it hits that point, you're not supposed to be in that relationship at all. Another situation, like in relationships, all right, you know, when you're in a relationship, you start to pick up each other's habits and stuff, or like you admire the way how they do certain things, so you want to start incorporating that into your life as well. That's one thing. And another thing is like changing who you are. I feel like when it hits a point that people really close to you that knew you for a long time are like, you're changing, but they're obviously, like, if you know them well enough to know if their opinions are really valid, that if they're coming to you and saying that they're changing, that you really are changing. And it's different when people are coming to you, they're like, oh, you're changing for the better, and they're still at a childish level that you're like, I'm over that life, and you don't want to be that anymore, and you're changing for a higher position to be a better you. But a lot of people, but that also gets sticky because it's confusing if you're changing for you or if you're changing for the person. And I feel like me, if I came up to one of my friends and I'm like, yo, this is not you, I would be blunt, like, this is not you, like, who is this person? I feel like I would dead tell you, like, you're becoming a copy of who you're dating. And all your interests, all the things you used to like or be passionate about or you wanted for yourself in the future, it's either they're intertwined in that and you're doing this for them, or they're brainwashing you to think this way is better. If somebody's telling you this way is better to do something and you're used to a certain way, that's not okay. Especially if you're changing what you know how you operate. That's not okay. That, like I was saying, that happened to me before. Like, I was in a relationship and all of my goals that I had for myself, I started including him in it, and I was mainly doing it to save him. Like, I wanted to hurry up and get a place so he could have a place to like relax and get away from all the stress. I wanted to hurry up and be big, so if he's not already up there, I can help him like get noticed and stuff like that however I can. I started like supporting his dreams, like buying supplies towards his stuff, and he wasn't really he was in a position where he could help me, but I wasn't really getting much from his side. But I'm such like a giver. Like if I really care about you and I believe in you, there's no question of me not supporting you at all. So I feel like I was mostly like giving in a relationship, and I had to compromise with like the disrespect. I felt invisible, like how I felt only mattered for that second, and after that it was like I'm being like petty or I'm not being fair. And I feel like once it's only like looked on from one side and you're the one who's unhappy and doing all the changes, like it's done. Like especially with friendships, the same way. If you know you're not comfortable with how your friends want you to be, let them know that. And if they're not okay with that, then that's not a friendship you should stay in. It's gonna ruin your character and ruin who you are, who you really want to be. You know, everyone, I feel like everyone knows who you're supposed to be, what you deserve, and where you want to go. And I feel like once any of those change because it's being manipulated by someone else, they have to go. And you should just work on yourself. Like don't be afraid to stand alone and work on yourself. Because trust me, people will come along through your journey and join you. They would not be changing your course. No one should be changing your course at all. They should be meeting you, and especially if their goals meet yours, you guys will be walking in the same direction. Once you're like changing too much, and that's not all, no one should be changing like that for anyone. And that's the confusing part, because you never know if you are changing someone. If someone comes up, if they tell you like you're ruining my life, basically you're like changing who I am, then you know you need to fall back and change. I also sit back and think of that myself, especially like my friend is in a relationship and I feel like I put too much of my passion and opinion into it because I really care about her. And I noticed that I've developed this sense of awareness that I can quickly pick up on what type of person someone is and can tell you this is gonna happen. I'm not saying it purposely because I want it to happen. I'm saying it because I care and I do not want it to inflict on their being and destroy you. Because after you're destroyed, you have to start from the beginning and build yourself back up. Especially if you lost yourself within that person. It's hard. And especially being your own woman with work. If you have a job and you know it's just temporary, is a certain job is just temporary, and do not build a life at that job, meaning do not date anyone at your job, because it will change your whole plan for yourself. Because if anything goes down at work, you're not going to want to stay in that crazy environment, that hostile environment. Do not build a life there. Do not fully trust anyone. If you know the situation where you are is temporary, do not implant and embed yourself in that environment. Make it temporary enough that your journey will be smooth and you can pick up and leave without worrying about leaving anything behind. Because once you build, like, of course, don't be mean. Like, don't be mean to everyone. Like, build enough of a platform where you're cool with everyone. But of course, sometimes you can't help what situations you bump into. But that's when you should be upfront with the person and let them know. Yo, like, especially if it's a friend, you're like, oh man, I wasn't even planning on like being that close with anyone because this is my future plans or whatever. You never know, the person might be the same way. They're like, true, this is just temporary, I'm not staying here. And like I said, whoever you meet, you guys might be on the same plane. So if they're going the same direction, do not change your course for anyone. Because later when you look back, you will regret it. And then you're going to put all of your anger on that person and be like, it's your fault. It's not their fault. You chose to follow them on that path when you already knew you had something going on for yourself. Do not do that to yourself. That's suicide, literally. And like I said, do not build relationships that were do not date anyone at your job. That is another suicide. Like, don't befriend people, especially if you feel you have a under feeling that like they're not someone you would hang out with outside of work. Especially that if they're not someone you would hang out outside of work with, do not embed yourself in that friendship, because then they're gonna turn around and be like, oh, you're a fake. When you're ready to leave, they're gonna be like, you're a fake, you're a traitor, you're not a real friend. Then you'll feel guilty and waste your time trying to prove to this person what you were originally there to do, and then your path is leaving you. With work, also with family, especially, oh my god, family. Me growing up in a West Indian households, West Indian background, West Indians are very opinionated, as everyone, well, as a lot of all families are very opinionated, but West Indian families, they kind of already, not hardcore, but they kind of already have your future planned out for you. They want you to go to school because, especially in most parts in the West Indies and Caribbean, their education is not the same as if you're in America, or they have other things to tend to when they were younger, so they were not fortunate or able to go to school and do what they want to do. When they came to America, they got a job enough to support their family, but I'm sure it's not their dream. So they want to see you live your dream, which is hard sometimes if you have your own plan and they see you as something else. Especially this is hard for artists. A lot of people do not believe in the art career, in painting, dancing, acting, singing, rapping, makeup especially. A lot of family members, a lot of people in general do not believe these are long-term careers or solid careers. They always feel like as long as you have a diploma behind you, no one could tell you nothing. Honestly, I don't even think it means anything. Paper, you could say all day, I went to these much years of school or whatever. If they're not feeling you, especially if it's the boss, they know who they want to hire. Sometimes they don't even look at the education. They feel off your vibe. Sometimes if you're in an interview and you're already vibing with the interviewer, they hardly even look at your resume. They just be like, oh yeah, I forgot to ask you this question. So I feel like as long as you're a good person and you have a good vibe and you know how to talk to people, then you should be fine. But I'm not saying like you totally don't need any education. There are people there that they didn't finish high school and they're great, and throughout their path they met someone that either enhances or helps them or going the same way as them, which causes them not to have to go back. So like I'm saying, being headstrong and being strong about what you want from the jump, you will start building stronger platforms throughout your journey. But as soon as you start like going a different path, your platform will crumble. And then when you finally get to where you want to go, it's gonna drop really fast because your platform did not even start off great. You might have bumped into someone where, because you went down this wrong path, you got into confrontation with them, and they will come back to you now, or they know someone at that position and that person's like, don't use them, they're this and they're that, and then it crumbles. So be your own woman, build yourself. You just got out of a relationship. I know it's hard, but just sit down and think plan out, look at the good and the bad of what happened in a relationship. What did you gain? If you gained nothing, definitely do not cry over that. If you gained absolutely nothing, do not cry over someone that cannot offer you anything. If they cannot enhance your journey or who you are or contribute in any way, and I'm not talking about money, I mean like in being supportive, like connections of any way. So it doesn't even have to be money. If they do not enhance you, do not cry about that. If you can still live and breathe without them, you're fine. Trust me, it's hard for, like, I just got out of a relationship and it is really hard, especially when it's someone that you feel like, oh my god, they could have been the one and all of that stuff. Like, I feel like you do know at any age if this person is meant for you. You would know later, not as soon as you break up with them. Like after a few months, you will know. Like, it's nothing. It's a lot of relationships now when I think about it. I'm like, oh my god, like, I'm so glad I did not go back. I'm glad I did not waste my time shedding tears over them. I'm glad I not make myself look stupid and like try to get them back. Especially like if you just got out of a relationship and already have someone new. Your relationship with them, as tough as it sounds, did not mean much to them at all. And that's what happened to me. Like, I'm the one that asked to like just break up because I felt like he needed more time to mature and grow and build himself. And I felt like I needed to detach like all of my past experiences and now bring them into like present situations, because it causes me to be hard and to sometimes be unreasonable. And when I finally realized that I needed to just let that go, even though I really care about him and I did felt like we could have been like everything, but I felt like I would have been forcing something that's not supposed to be happening either right now. So I still kept hope alive. I was like, all right, maybe I'm not supposed to be together right now because we met previously and I knew that we were supposed to be together yet because we were in different parts in our lives. And then we met up again. I was like, all right, maybe this will be the time where everything just flows. But it didn't, because I feel like he still needs more growing and I need healing. So I thought maybe like later down the line we'll probably meet up again and then try again. But like probably, I'm sure not even a good month or so passed, he was already talking to someone else. And I believe that they were talking from since like we took a break one time. I know a lot of people don't believe in breaks, so I really did not want to break up. I just wanted him to like realize we need to come together and get better. But he already has a girl, so I'm like, everything that he was saying about our relationship being important to him, it's like out the window for me. I'm like, you're a liar and you used me, and I'm not gonna going back to you and still keeping hope alive and keeping you in my future plans when you don't deserve that. Especially, you would have to do some crazy work for me to ever be like, all right, let's try again or whatever. I can't even like consider him a friend right now because it's kind of weird. I don't know how people become friends with their exes. Like, my mom always told me that all of my relationships always have to end out with me cutting them off completely, because I know how I am. If I don't cut them off completely, I'm going to go back and give myself a headache and look at everything, and then it's just going to be a hot mess. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Strong for yourself, and you have to keep the mindset that, I'm like playing with my piercing, but you have to keep the mindset that you are your own superhero, and you have to put yourself first, but not in a selfish way. Like, if people were there helping you from the jump, let them continue to be there, but just gotta be good to yourself. Be your own woman, be strong, build yourself back up. Realize no one is worth your tears if you did not gain anything from them. They humiliated you, called you out of your name, belittled you, let disrespect fly and disrespect you and make you feel like you're stupid or your feelings are not valid at all. Do not waste tears. Do not let this person waste your time. Obviously, there's bigger plans out there for you why this did not work. And always pay attention to red flags. That's what I've noticed and realized recently. Do not look past red flags. When you see a red flag, you slow down. Alright? Do not speed up and get yourself in a tornado. But that was my words of wisdom. Be strong. Do not let anyone sidetrack you at all. Whatever it is you're trying to do. And stay beautiful.
'Cause I've never had so much to gain, and